Looked at that paper, she wrote her name up there. She got to that first problem, and she wrote one little number beside the little balance of the chemical equations. And then the next thing you know what she did, right? Raised her hand. And I'm sitting here thinking, Myra, I know this is a test. And she gonna raise her hand. So I'll go over there, Myra, what you need? What you want? What you need? I know this is a test, but just tell me if I'm doing this right. I said, Myra, I can't really tell you if you're doing this right. There's other students here, and being a teacher is a pop test. You just going to have to do the best you can, and I believe, and I'm confident that if you do your best, you'll pass. So I walk away. A minute later, she add one more little number. What does Myra do? Raise her hand. I'm sitting there like, Lord, have mercy. Myra, you're going to get me in trouble. So I'll go over there. Myra, what do you need? What you want? Well, I know you can't tell me if I'm doing it right, but just look at this one little part and just tell me if this one little part is right. And I said, Myra, I can't really help you with that. So I walk away. And then the next time, about not even 2 minutes later, I look over at Myra, and you just see tears welling up in her eyes. And Myra's struggling on this chemistry test. And you know what she did? She took her hands off her test, and she raised her hand. And just in all of that, it really blessed me because I can recall that like it was yesterday, because I said, you know what, Myra? You actually did the right thing in that situation. You were taking a test, and it was hard for you. You could not figure it out. You didn't know the answers. But all you knew to do at that point in time was to raise your hand so that your teacher, the one who created the test, can assist you with that which he created. Now, how can we apply that to our lives? That's why you should not come up in church stuck up, acting like God owe you something because you're entitled. You mad because the bill ain't paid yet. You mad because the car still broke down. You mad because they still talking about foreclosure. You mad because you failed the final exam and now you got to pay for that class all over again. And now God owes you something because he's behind on blessing you. So you come up in here and you fold your arms. But the doctor said it was cancer, but he's still God. But you folded your arms. So Myra blessed me, and she passed that test, by the way. But you can give her praise for that. But she blessed me because I said in the midst of that test, her posture was here, and when she took her hands off of that test and she extended her hands towards heaven, everything that she needed was met with heaven's best. And I don't know what you need in the house today, but God is sending me here to tell you that it's only a test. And if you need assistance, why don't you extend your hands towards heaven in the form of praise and give God thanks in advance, and he'll come to your rescue. Sugar diabetes is not too much for God. High blood pressure is not too much for God. Asthma is not too much for God. Cancer is not too much for God. I know that you're having back problems, but it's not too much for God. I know your money is funny, but it's not too much for. When you raise your hand, you're saying, Lord, I take my hands off of this test and I surrender unto you. You are the author and you're the finisher of my faith. Take your hands off of your spouse and take your hands off of your children and take your hands off of your body and take your hands off of your money, and I give my test to you, God. I give that baby to you. I give my husband to you, and I give my wife to you. I take my hands off and you're trying to figure it out all by yourself. Myra Wilkins possessed what I call a resilient spirit. She possessed a resilient spirit, so regardless of the test, she had the innate ability to bounce back. Resiliency is the ability to bounce back regardless of the circumstance. And I'm closing. Some people get so bent out of shape when things happen to them. And it's just like the church. It's normal for us to play the victim when things happen to us. Then we start doing what? We start asking the why questions. Lord, why am I going through this? Why do I have to suffer through this test? Why am I in the midst of this trial? Why do I have to struggle when I see so many other people being blessed and I know they're not saved like I am? Why? We feel victimized. Thus, testing ought to drive us to the objective certainty of faith and not to the subjective despair of emotion. So oftentimes we get so caught up in emotions that we overlook the one thing that pleases God, and it is our faith. So instead of believing that things happen to us, this is what I believe. I believe that most things happen for people instead of to people. So if I put it this way, things happen to you, happen for you, so that something can happen in you.